Have you ever found yourself feeling powerless, as if someone else is pulling the strings in your life? You might have noticed that your thoughts and decisions are being swayed, but you can't quite figure out how or why. Maybe it's a subtle guilt trip, a flattering compliment that feels just a little too good, or a constant need to please someone who seems to hold all the cards. It's frustrating and exhausting, leaving you questioning your own judgment. If you've ever been in this situation, you're not alone. Many of us struggle with recognizing and resisting manipulation, especially in relationships where emotions run deep. You might feel trapped, not knowing how to assert yourself or how to regain control over your own choices. But here's the good news. There's a way to break free. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, offers powerful tools to protect yourself from manipulation. By understanding and applying these principles, you can reclaim your autonomy, build emotional resilience, and make decisions that align with your true self. In this video, we'll explore 6 Stoic principles that can help you navigate relationships with confidence and integrity, ensuring that you remain true to yourself no matter what. 1. Understand the nature of manipulation. Understanding the nature of manipulation is crucial for preventing it, as it allows you to recognize when you are being manipulated and take steps to protect yourself. Manipulation is the act of influencing someone to do something against their will or best interests, often through deceit, coercion, or exploitation. In Stoicism, the concept of manipulation can be seen as a violation of the natural order, as it involves one person imposing their will on another in a way that disregards the other's autonomy and dignity. The first step in understanding manipulation is to recognize the tactics that manipulators use. These tactics can include guilt-tripping, gaslighting, flattery, playing the victim, and creating a sense of obligation or indebtedness. Manipulators often use these tactics to create confusion or doubt in their targets, making them question their own perceptions and decisions. By understanding these tactics, you can identify when someone is trying to manipulate you and take steps to protect yourself. For example, guilt-tripping is a common manipulation tactic where the manipulator tries to make you feel guilty for not doing what they want. They might say things like, "After everything I've done for you, how can you say no?" Or, "If you really cared about me, you would do this." Understanding that guilt-tripping is a manipulation tactic allows you to recognize it for what it is and refuse to be swayed by it. The Stoics believed in the importance of acting according to reason rather than emotion, and recognizing guilt-tripping as a manipulation tactic helps you to remain rational and objective in your decisions. Gaslighting is another common manipulation tactic, where the manipulator tries to make you doubt your own perceptions or reality. They might say things like, "You're imagining things," or "You're overreacting," in an attempt to make you question your own judgment. Understanding gaslighting as a manipulation tactic allows you to trust your own perceptions and stand firm in your beliefs. The Stoics emphasized the importance of prohairesis, or moral choice, which involves trusting your own judgment and making decisions based on your own values and principles. Flattery is another manipulation tactic that can be difficult to recognize because it often feels good to receive compliments or praise. However, manipulators often use flattery to gain your trust or compliance. For example, they might say things like, "You're so talented, I can't believe you would say no to this opportunity," or "You're the only person who can help me with this." Understanding that flattery can be a manipulation tactic allows you to remain grounded and not be swayed by excessive praise. The Stoics believed in the importance of humility and self-awareness, which can help you to recognize when flattery is being used to manipulate you. Playing the victim is another manipulation tactic where the manipulator tries to gain your sympathy or pity in order to get what they want. They might say things like, "I don't know what I'll do if you don't help me," or "Everyone else has abandoned me. I thought I could count on you." Understanding that playing the victim is a manipulation tactic allows you to remain compassionate without being taken advantage of. The Stoics emphasize the importance of compassion and justice, which means helping others without allowing them to exploit your kindness. Creating a sense of obligation or indebtedness is another manipulation tactic where the manipulator tries to make you feel like you owe them something. They might say things like, "I did this for you, now you owe me," or "I can't believe you're not willing to return the favor." Understanding that creating a sense of obligation is a manipulation tactic allows you to recognize that you are not obligated to do something just because someone else has done something for you. The Stoics believed in the importance of acting according to your own values and principles, rather than being influenced by external pressures. In addition to recognizing these manipulation tactics, it's also important to understand the motivations behind manipulation. Manipulators often seek to control others in order to fulfill their own needs or desires, whether it's gaining power, avoiding responsibility, or achieving a specific outcome. By understanding these motivations, you can recognize when someone is trying to manipulate you and take steps to protect yourself. It's also important to understand that manipulation is a violation of your autonomy and dignity. The Stoics believed that every individual has the right to live according to their own values and principles, and manipulation undermines this right by imposing someone else's will on you. By understanding the nature of manipulation, you can recognize when your autonomy is being threatened and take steps to protect it. In conclusion, understanding the nature of manipulation is essential for preventing it. By recognizing the tactics that manipulators use and understanding their motivations, you can protect yourself from being influenced against your will or best interests. The Stoic principles of rationality, moral choice, and autonomy all support the practice of understanding manipulation, making it an essential aspect of living a life guided by your values and free from manipulation. 2. Cultivate emotional detachment. Emotional detachment, in the context of Stoicism, refers to the ability to separate your emotions from your decision-making process, allowing you to think and act more rationally. This does not mean that Stoics advocate for suppressing or ignoring emotions. Rather, they emphasize the importance of understanding and managing them so that they do not control you. Cultivating emotional detachment is essential when it comes to preventing manipulation, particularly in relationships where emotions can often cloud judgment and lead to being swayed by others' desires or intentions. Manipulators often exploit emotions to influence their targets. They may use guilt, fear, love, or anger to make you act in ways that benefit them. For example, a manipulator might use guilt to make you feel responsible for their happiness, leading you to do things against your own best interests. By cultivating emotional detachment, you can recognize when your emotions are being used against you and prevent yourself from being manipulated. To cultivate emotional detachment, it is essential first to understand your emotions. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-awareness and self-reflection. By regularly reflecting on your emotional responses, you can gain insight into what triggers certain emotions and how these emotions influence your behavior. This understanding allows you to anticipate and manage your emotional reactions in situations where someone might try to manipulate you. Once you understand your emotions, the next step is to practice controlling them. This does not mean suppressing your emotions, but rather choosing how to respond to them. The Stoics taught that we have the power to control our reactions to external events, including how we respond emotionally. By practicing techniques such as deep breathing, mindfulness, and cognitive reframing, you can develop the ability to remain calm and composed in situations where your emotions might otherwise lead you astray. Emotional detachment also involves setting boundaries between your emotions and the actions of others. For example, if someone is trying to make you feel guilty for not doing something, emotional detachment allows you to recognize that their guilt-tripping is a form of manipulation and not a reflection of your own feelings or responsibilities. You can acknowledge their emotions without letting them dictate your actions. Another aspect of emotional detachment is the ability to maintain perspective. The Stoics taught that we should view our emotions and the situations that trigger them from a broader perspective, recognizing that our feelings are temporary and do not define us. By maintaining this perspective, you can prevent yourself from being swept away by intense emotions and make decisions based on reason and principle rather than emotional impulses. In relationships, cultivating emotional detachment allows you to interact with others from a place of strength and clarity. You are not easily swayed by emotional appeals or manipulative tactics because you are able to separate your emotions from your decision-making process. This detachment also allows you to recognize when someone is trying to manipulate you through emotional means and respond in a way that protects your well-being. Emotional detachment also involves accepting that you cannot control the emotions or actions of others. The Stoics emphasize the importance of focusing on what is within your control and letting go of what is not. By accepting that you cannot change or fix others, you can free yourself from the burden of trying to manage their emotions and instead focus on your own well-being. In conclusion, cultivating emotional detachment is a powerful tool in preventing manipulation. By understanding and managing your emotions, setting boundaries, maintaining perspective, and accepting what you cannot control, you can protect yourself from being swayed by emotional manipulation. The Stoic principles of self-awareness, rationality, and emotional control all support the practice of emotional detachment, making it an essential aspect of living a life guided by your values and free from manipulation. 3. Embrace self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency, a core tenet of Stoic philosophy, is the practice of relying on yourself for your happiness, fulfillment, and well-being. By cultivating self-sufficiency, you reduce your dependence on others for validation, support, or approval, which in turn makes you less susceptible to manipulation. When you are self-sufficient, you are less likely to be swayed by others because your sense of self-worth and contentment does not hinge on external factors. Manipulators often prey on individuals who are dependent on others for their emotional or psychological needs. They exploit this dependence by offering approval, affection, or validation in exchange for compliance. For example, a manipulator might make you feel that your worth is contingent on their approval, leading you to act in ways that please them, even if it goes against your own values or desires. By embracing self-sufficiency, you can protect yourself from this type of manipulation. The Stoics believed that true happiness and fulfillment come from within, rather than from external sources. This belief is grounded in the idea that external circumstances are beyond our control and can change at any moment. By focusing on developing your inner resources, such as your character, virtues, and wisdom, you create a stable foundation for your well-being that is not dependent on others. To cultivate self-sufficiency, it is essential to develop a strong sense of self. This involves knowing who you are, what you value, and what you stand for. The Stoics emphasize the importance of self-knowledge as a means of living in accordance with nature and fulfilling your potential as a rational being. By understanding yourself and your values, you can make decisions that are aligned with your true self, rather than being influenced by the desires or expectations of others. Another aspect of self-sufficiency is the ability to meet your own needs. This includes not only physical needs but also emotional and psychological needs. The Stoics believed in the importance of cultivating inner strength and resilience, which allows you to face challenges and difficulties without relying on others for support. For example, if you are feeling lonely or insecure, self-sufficiency involves finding ways to address these feelings on your own, rather than seeking validation or comfort from others. Self-sufficiency also involves being content with what you have. The Stoics taught that we should focus on appreciating what we have rather than constantly seeking more or comparing ourselves to others. By cultivating gratitude and contentment, you reduce the likelihood of being manipulated by those who try to exploit your desires or insecurities. For example, a manipulator might try to make you feel inadequate by highlighting what you lack, but if you are content with what you have, this tactic will have little effect on you. In relationships, self-sufficiency allows you to interact with others from a place of strength rather than neediness. You are not dependent on others for your happiness or self-worth, which makes you less vulnerable to manipulation. This independence also allows you to set boundaries and make decisions that are in your best interest, rather than being swayed by the demands or expectations of others. Self-sufficiency also involves taking responsibility for your own life and choices. The Stoics believed that we are each responsible for our own happiness and well-being, and that blaming others for our problems is a form of self-deception. By taking ownership of your life, you empower yourself to make decisions that are aligned with your values and to resist being manipulated by others. In conclusion, embracing self-sufficiency is a powerful strategy for preventing manipulation. By developing a strong sense of self, meeting your own needs, cultivating contentment, and taking responsibility for your life, you reduce your dependence on others and protect yourself from being swayed by external influences. The Stoic principles of self-knowledge, inner strength, and responsibility all support the practice of self-sufficiency, making it an essential aspect of living a life guided by your values and free from manipulation. 4. Surround yourself with virtuous people. Surrounding yourself with virtuous people is a crucial strategy for avoiding manipulation, as the company you keep greatly influences your behavior, decisions, and overall well-being. In Stoicism, the importance of virtuous companionship is emphasized through the concept of homonoia, unity of thought and purpose with others who share similar values. By aligning yourself with individuals who embody virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, you create a supportive environment that encourages integrity and resists manipulation. Manipulators often thrive in environments where virtue is lacking, as they can exploit the weaknesses, insecurities, or desires of those around them. For example, if you surround yourself with people who prioritize material wealth over moral values, you may be more susceptible to being manipulated by those who use material incentives to influence your behavior. Conversely, if you are in the company of people who value integrity and moral principles, you are more likely to be supported in making decisions that align with your values and less likely to be swayed by manipulative tactics. To surround yourself with virtuous people, it is essential to first understand what virtue means in the context of Stoicism. The Stoics defined virtue as the highest good and the foundation of a good life. Virtue is composed of 4 cardinal qualities: wisdom, the ability to discern what is truly good; courage, the ability to act rightly despite fear; justice, the ability to treat others fairly; and temperance, the ability to practice self-control. By seeking out individuals who embody these qualities, you create a network of support that reinforces your commitment to living a virtuous life. One of the key benefits of surrounding yourself with virtuous people is that they serve as role models and sources of inspiration. The Stoics believed in the importance of emulating the virtues of others as a way to cultivate your own character. When you are in the company of people who consistently demonstrate wisdom, courage, justice. 5. Practice assertiveness. Practicing assertiveness is a key strategy in preventing manipulation, as it involves confidently expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs while respecting the rights of others. In Stoicism, assertiveness aligns with the concept of prohairesis, or moral choice, which is the ability to make decisions based on your values and principles rather than being swayed by external pressures. Assertiveness empowers you to stand up for yourself without resorting to aggression or passivity, both of which can lead to manipulation. Assertiveness is rooted in self-respect. When you are assertive, you communicate to others that you value yourself and your needs. This self-respect is a deterrent to manipulation, because it signals to others that you will not be easily swayed or coerced into actions that go against your values or desires. Manipulative individuals often target those who struggle with assertiveness, as they are more likely to be passive or accommodating in order to avoid conflict. By practicing assertiveness, you demonstrate that you are not afraid to stand up for yourself and that you will not tolerate manipulation. One of the core principles of assertiveness is the ability to say no. The Stoics emphasized the importance of acting according to your own values and principles, rather than being influenced by the desires or demands of others. Saying no is an essential part of this, as it allows you to set boundaries and protect your well-being. For example, if someone tries to manipulate you into doing something that you are uncomfortable with, being assertive allows you to firmly and respectfully decline. This refusal is a form of self-assertion, where you prioritize your own needs and values over the manipulator's demands. Assertiveness also involves clear and direct communication. Manipulators often rely on ambiguity or confusion to exploit others. By communicating your thoughts and feelings clearly, you eliminate any room for manipulation. For instance, if someone tries to guilt you into doing something by playing on your emotions, you can assertively state how you feel and why you are not willing to comply. This direct communication leaves little room for manipulation, as it makes your position clear and unambiguous. Another important aspect of assertiveness is the ability to express your needs and desires. The Stoics believed in the importance of living according to nature, which includes recognizing and fulfilling your own needs in a balanced way. When you are assertive, you are able to express your needs without feeling guilty or selfish. For example, if you need time for yourself or space in a relationship, being assertive allows you to communicate this need clearly and confidently. This prevents others from manipulating you by making you feel guilty for taking care of yourself. Practicing assertiveness also involves recognizing and addressing manipulation when it occurs. The Stoics taught that we should be vigilant in our interactions with others and aware of how we are being influenced. When you are assertive, you are able to identify when someone is trying to manipulate you and address it directly. For example, if someone uses flattery to try to gain your trust or compliance, being assertive allows you to acknowledge the flattery without being swayed by it. You can respond with a simple, "Thank you, but that doesn't change my decision," making it clear that you are not influenced by their attempts to manipulate you. In relationships, assertiveness helps to create a dynamic of mutual respect. When both parties are able to express their thoughts, feelings, and needs openly and honestly, there is less room for manipulation. The Stoic principle of justice, which emphasizes treating others with fairness and respect, is closely related to assertiveness. By being assertive, you are not only protecting yourself from manipulation, but also fostering a relationship based on honesty and mutual respect. It's important to note that assertiveness is not the same as aggression. Aggression involves imposing your will on others, often at the expense of their rights, while assertiveness involves standing up for your own rights while respecting the rights of others. The Stoics believed in the importance of balance and moderation, and assertiveness embodies this balance by allowing you to protect your own well-being without infringing on the well-being of others. In conclusion, practicing assertiveness is a powerful tool in preventing manipulation. By confidently expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs, you can protect yourself from being swayed by external pressures and maintain your integrity. The Stoic principles of self-respect, moral choice, and justice all support the practice of assertiveness, making it an essential aspect of living a life guided by your values and free from manipulation. 6. Set clear boundaries. Setting Clear boundaries is an essential practice for anyone looking to prevent manipulation in their relationships. Boundaries are the limits you establish regarding what is acceptable behavior from others and what is not. These limits protect your emotional, mental, and physical well-being, ensuring that others cannot take advantage of you or manipulate you into actions that go against your values or desires. In Stoicism, the concept of boundaries aligns with the idea of prohairesis, or moral choice, which involves making decisions that are consistent with your principles and protecting your inner peace. Boundaries are a reflection of self-respect. When you set clear boundaries, you are communicating to others that you value yourself and your well-being. This self-respect is a key deterrent to manipulation, as manipulators often prey on individuals who lack strong boundaries and can be easily swayed or guilted into compliance. By setting boundaries, you make it clear that you will not tolerate behavior that infringes on your rights or violates your values. The first step in setting boundaries is to understand your own needs and values. The Stoics emphasize the importance of knowing yourself, including your values, priorities, and what you are willing to accept in your relationships. By being clear about these aspects of yourself, you can establish boundaries that protect them. For example, if you value honesty, you might set a boundary that you will not tolerate lying or deceit in your relationships. If you value your time, you might set a boundary regarding how much time you are willing to spend on certain activities or with certain people. Once you have identified your boundaries, the next step is to communicate them clearly and assertively. Manipulators often rely on ambiguity or uncertainty to exploit others. By clearly stating your boundaries, you eliminate any confusion and make it clear what you will and will not accept. For example, if someone consistently tries to guilt you into doing things you don't want to do, you can clearly communicate that you will no longer respond to guilt-based appeals. This communication is a form of self-assertion, a Stoic practice that involves standing firm in your values and principles. It's important to recognize that setting boundaries also means being willing to enforce them. A boundary that is not enforced is ineffective and may even invite further manipulation. Enforcing your boundaries might involve saying no, distancing yourself from certain people, or ending relationships that do not respect your limits. The Stoics believed in the importance of taking responsibility for your own life and choices, and this includes being willing to take action to protect your boundaries. While this may sometimes be difficult, especially in close relationships, it is essential for maintaining your integrity and well-being. In addition to protecting yourself from manipulation, boundaries also play a crucial role in fostering healthy relationships. When both parties in a relationship respect each other's boundaries, there is a foundation of mutual respect and trust. This mutual respect makes manipulation less likely, as both individuals are committed to honoring each other's needs and limits. Conversely, a lack of boundaries can lead to unhealthy dynamics, where one person consistently tries to control or manipulate the other. Setting boundaries also involves being aware of and respecting the boundaries of others. The Stoic principle of justice, which emphasizes treating others with fairness and respect, applies here. By respecting the boundaries of others, you demonstrate that you are not seeking to manipulate or control them, and you create a relationship based on mutual respect. This reciprocal respect helps to create an environment where manipulation is less likely to occur. It's also important to recognize that setting boundaries is an ongoing process. Relationships and circumstances change over time, and so too may your boundaries. The Stoics believed in the importance of continuous self-reflection and adaptation. Regularly reassessing your boundaries and making adjustments as needed is key to ensuring that they continue to protect you from manipulation and maintain your well-being. In summary, setting clear boundaries is a powerful tool in preventing manipulation. By understanding your needs and values, communicating your boundaries clearly, and being willing to enforce them, you can protect yourself from being manipulated by others. The Stoic principles of self-respect, justice, and moral choice all support the practice of setting boundaries, making it an essential aspect of living a life guided by your values and free from manipulation. In a world where manipulation can easily entangle us in webs of confusion and doubt, embracing Stoic principles provides a clear path to freedom and self-mastery. By cultivating emotional detachment, practicing assertiveness, and understanding the nature of manipulation, you equip yourself with the tools to navigate relationships with clarity and strength. The wisdom of Stoicism teaches us that true power comes from within, from the ability to control our own responses, maintain our integrity, and live according to our values. As you apply these principles, you'll find that manipulation loses its grip on you. You'll begin to see through the tactics that once controlled you, standing firm in your decisions and fostering relationships built on mutual respect and honesty. Remember, the goal is not to shut others out, but to protect your sense of self and ensure that your choices are guided by your own values, not the desires of others. By surrounding yourself with virtuous people, embracing self-sufficiency, and cultivating inner strength, you can create a life where manipulation has no place. A life guided by wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Stoicism offers not just a defense against manipulation, but a blueprint for living a life of purpose and integrity.